Where's he streaming from? I think I'm live. Let's see. Clean off my glasses. Am I live, y'all? Am I live, y'all? Yes, I think I am. Okay. Can you see? We can see. Perfect. Perfect. And go down here. Pull it up. Let's get rid of this. Let me actually go back to this. Yeah, we're live. Let me get live on all the other places we are going. And we will be ready. Let's give it. I promise I'm gonna get better at this. It's one of those things where, oops. It's one of those things where it's like trying to just get better and grow, get used to being on two different things. All right, so for those of you guys who don't know, I do have a book. It is called Breaking Into AI. It's a practical guide for women ready to lead the future. I don't know if you guys know this, but I feel like just throughout the world, all of these different companies are requiring or strongly encouraging folks to have AI experience. So that's really what this is about. This book is very much entry level. We'll go through a few of the pages of it, and then if you guys have questions, let me know. If I don't have as many people on here, I know I'm still growing as a content creator, so if I don't have as many people on here, I'll answer the questions that I think people might have, and we'll go from there. So we know AI is artificial intelligence, and some of the buzzwords that I hear quite often are things like machine learning. In my book, I talk about that being something very common that people say, and it's really just what does machine learning mean? What is that talking about? Quickest thing or the best way that I can say it is that you kind of want to think about it like you're teaching a child how to recognize animals. So you show them different pictures of cats, dogs, rats, all of the things, so that they can tell the difference on their own. And so as you show more and more pictures to the computer or the system, they begin to recognize different patterns, different features, different colors. So that's really what machine learning is. The machine is learning how to differentiate from those pictures. It's just being able to recognize patterns. Let's talk about generative AI. I think this is probably a lot of everyone's favorite. So we know generative AI is somewhat a lot more advanced than machine learning because it can create something new. It can do writing text, it can draw pictures, it can create music, it can create, I've seen generative AI commercials. You've seen people do a lot of things with their picture. It can take a picture of you, and if you say, I want to save money on my birthday and I want to look like a supermodel that is walking on a beach, It can generate a picture, generate a photo for you, sometimes even using your face depending on the tool. And it can also give you additional information. So it can create something new. So a lot of those tools are things like ChatGPT, Gemini is another one of them that people like. There's several others that people like, but that is something that it can do. I love ChatGPT. I use for work a tool that's called Copilot. That's also generative AI. So whenever I have a work related question or just want to do something smarter or don't want to Google something because I need a specific answer, it will tell me that. So it's pretty amazing. It's good stuff. I thoroughly enjoy it. But the third kind of buzzword is automation. So this is when AI can handle repetitive, sorry, I haven't had food all day, task for you. So think about whenever you are setting up your bills, so you're doing auto pay, that is automation. If you say, hey, if I get an email from this specific person, I want it to be marked as spam, or I want it blocked, or I want you to put it in this specific folder and flag it as this. That's all examples of automation. It's not always smart, but it makes your job easier. And what I'm noticing is a lot of companies are using automation and other tools because they want to get rid of, I don't want to say they want to get rid of their employees, but they want to cut back on employees. They'd rather use a system, a computer that can do it for them. And it makes sense, right? Because if you've got a system that can do something, do you need, and they can maybe do something that would take a accountant 5 to 10 hours to figure out, but you've got a system that can do it in 30 minutes, obviously you're going to want to rely on the system for computer error, for what have you. What I'm learning with artificial intelligence, though, is it's still a relatively new tool. I don't necessarily think it can run without some type of supervision. It's just not that advanced yet. But what's crazy is it's getting there, and it's getting there fast. So the information that you feed the computer will heavily rely on the information you get back. Um, Again, that's that going back to the machine learning kind of aspect of AI. If you don't really know the specific question you need to ask to get the specific information, it could very well spit out information that is irrelevant, is not always accurate. There could be a different path or a better path you could take. It really just depends. So, those are the three buzzwords that I really like, and I've always been just kind of looking at. Again, that's machine learning, that's generative AI, and that's automation. I want to switch gears to talking about different fields that you can go into. Let me see if I can find that. I'm actually going to change my background picture on this other one. So bear with me for 1 minute while I do that, guys. Let's see. I think I have to go here. I think I have to go here. Yeah. Which one do we want? This one? Or do we want... This is what we want. There we go. So this is talking about the career paths in AI. You know, I saw an article not too long ago that actually said AI is going to gift people and make a lot of people millionaires, billionaires, if not trillionaires. So, whether you want to follow me on my journey and join me on this journey, or you just want to independently study, this is such a new technology that if you jump on this train right now, you could very easily make a lot of money and set your family up for success. Some of the careers, and this is non technical roles, again, this is in my book called Breaking into AI, is non tech roles. The first one is actually what I do. It's a project manager slash scrum master in AI projects. And what I do is a lot of coordination, a lot of leading, a lot of deadlines and following up. I like to call it professional babysitting, to make sure communication is throughout leadership, my clients, and the team. Just making sure everyone is on track and the project is going the way that it should. The great thing about a scrum master or a project manager, in my opinion, is that they really can't be replaced by AI. Sure, you can have an automated tool that can perhaps give you calendar dates and create a timeline for you, or create a cost benefit analysis for you. But that face to face and human interaction, you're not actually going to have that. So I would definitely say project manager, scrum masters in AI could make upwards of six figures. I've seen a few jobs out there now that are paying, especially in AI, about 120 to maybe 150,000. I will say, as a project manager, I do have what's called a PMP, which is kind of equivalent to a accountant having a CPA a little bit. So if I have that, or if you don't have that credential, then you might not make 120 to 150. It really just depends. But it is a non-technical role. I would say I do have to know some aspects of my job, and I do have to be somewhat technical because I need to make sure if there's any gaps or if there's anything I need to communicate out to my client or to leadership, I'm at least a little knowledgeable in what my engineers are working on. The next thing on this list is a product manager. So AI products. You decide what AI solutions get built and why. And it does say that you are the bridge between customers, business goals, and technical teams. Now, it's interesting that this in my book is listed as a non technical role. I do feel like more so a scrum master, or more than a scrum master, a product manager most certainly needs to be somewhat technical. Now, I'm not saying that you need to know coding or you need to be able to write scripts or differentiate between the different languages, not necessarily, but you are the product manager. And so your clients, your customers, your leadership team is going to be looking to you to fully understand that AI product, maybe not from a technical standpoint, but definitely from a functionality standpoint on what it does, and what tool you're going to be building and why. So you definitely want to have a lot of confidence there. I have seen product manager roles go anywhere from 100 to upwards of 180,000. I actually just saw a senior product manager position out there. I think it was Amazon, and I believe that they started out at 130 and went all the way up to 240,000. So again, there's a lot of money to be made there if that's something you're interested in. I know right now with the job market, um, it's a lot of stuff that's highly competitive, so it might be a little bit more difficult, especially if you don't have like a project manager, product manager type of background. It might be harder for you to get into that field, but it's not impossible. The next thing is a data analyst. I'm actually going to take a sip of water, so give me a second, guys. And hello to everybody on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for following me. I appreciate you. It looks like it's about to storm outside, guys. Okay, let's talk about a data analyst. It's funny because I have somebody very close to me who's a data analyst. They look at the numbers, the trends, the data patterns. They help companies make smarter decisions. Now, the only thing with that actual role, data analyst role, that I would be concerned about is I do think out of these three positions, in about 5 to 10 years, I do worry that data analysts, that type of position, might go away for good. And the only reason that I say that is because I think as AI starts to mature, as the tools and that kind of technology starts to get better, they're going to find AI agents that can replace actual human beings, in my opinion anyway. But they do look at numbers. Like I said, they look at trends, they look at data patterns to help companies make smarter decisions. Some roles might be light coding, tools like SQL, but it's not, it's about insights. It's not just math. I know the person that I talk to mostly uses Excel a lot. I think they use SQL a lot, but it's very light coding, not to the extent of a software engineer or anything like that, but they definitely use that. Let me actually switch here to other roles that I can think of in my book, other non technical roles. Obviously, you could go the HR route, which would be like a recruiter. Once you are well versed in AI specific products, especially, you could potentially branch out and be an AI consultant. The only thing with being an AI consultant, though, is if you do not have somewhat of an architect or an engineer on some of those calls with you, if they're client facing and you can't answer those questions, some of the technical questions that you might get asked, you might run into some trouble there. But those are the three non technical positions: project manager, like a scrum master in AI projects, product manager for AI products, and a data analyst, the top three that I can think of. Let's look at another page here on my in my book. Let's see here. I'm going to switch to one more and then we'll wrap up for the day. Let's see what this one does. This is actually chapter 1. I feel like I went a little bit out of order here, but it's what is AI really? What's it used for? A lot of people, I think, get very intimidated by this artificial intelligence and they think of iRobot or just something extremely technical. But I think a lot of people don't realize that we use robots almost every day. And I believe in the next 5 to 10 years, everyone will. Actually, it probably won't be 10 years, more like 1 to 3. So let's kind of talk about that. AI is already part of our everyday lives. Most of the time you use it, you don't even realize it. So, Netflix, it might suggest your next show that you may love based on your previous activity. So, that's that machine learning. We talked about that earlier. That's AI. It's predicting what you may like. So, it'll automatically recommend a show that's similar to a show that you previously watched. I personally love that because when I get into my movie theme or I want to watch shows and just kind of cuddle up, it'll be a show that I maybe didn't hear about, or a commercial will come on and I'll be like, oh, there's another show. I would love to see that because it's similar to the movie or the show that I was previously watching. So machine learning, but again, if Netflix suggests something, the next show to you, it's AI. When your phone finishes your sentence in a text, that's also AI. A lot of times, that's another machine kind of learning technique that we just kind of talked about. I also feel like it's a little bit of generative AI too, because it kind of not only recognizes your patterns, but it also understands or assumes what you're going to say based on previous things. Sorry, guys, my significant other was messaging me, but I'll message him later. When your bank flags a suspicious purchase, that's AI too. Yeah, so I have very embarrassing story. I went to a restaurant that I've never gone to. It was about maybe an hour and a half away from my house, and my card got declined. And I knew that I had the money in there. I checked. I am very good with my financials, but I was like, wait, how do I not have 80 bucks in here? This is crazy. Well, I hadn't been to that restaurant ever before, and the city was far away. So the bank actually flagged it, thinking, you know what, I don't think she made this purchase. We can assess and we can look at typically where she goes out to eat or how much money she spends or the cities that her card is in. This isn't one of them. We're going to flag this. I love that. That again is also somewhat of machine learning as well, because it's able to look at your previous information and say, wait a minute, this doesn't look right. Let's flag this. At the end of the day, for those of you who care, I did actually get the whole card situation resolved. So we were good to go. But yes, my bank definitely flagged it, definitely put it as suspicious, and everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. But anyway, so at its core, AI is simply technology that learns from data and it makes decisions or predictions without needing constant human instructions. Instead of being told step by step what to do, AI figures out what patterns from huge amounts of information and uses those patterns to act smartly. I want you guys to comment anything that maybe I didn't cover in my book that you guys think AI also, or that may also be AI. I talked about this a little bit earlier. One of my girlfriends didn't want to spend a lot of money on her birthday photo shoot. And so she used an AI tool. It's called Gemini. And it took a picture of her face and she had said, okay, I want to look like I'm in a studio. I want a black and white picture. She was pretty much just feeding it a prompt or telling the tool what she wanted, gave it the picture or uploaded the picture in there, and the photos that it came out with were pretty unbelievable. It was awesome. And again, that tool that she used was called Gemini, which I think is on in Gmail or Google. So you could definitely check that out. Let's see here if there's anything else, guys. Don't think so. Let me go back. Let me see what this is talking about. I think we've already gone through pretty much everything. We've gone through everything. Yeah, so I am going to probably hop off, but I promised myself I would start coming on live a lot more. So I know the first 5 or 10 minutes is me fumbling around trying to get it all together. But as I grow both on YouTube again, I'm finally back on YouTube and on my TikTok. You guys will see more and more and more of me. I'm just trying to get it all together. So let me go ahead and close out. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. It's been a journey. We have a long way to go, but I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go ahead and log off if I can figure out how. Let's see here.